Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul here from Hashtag Sports. I forgot to check my name before I started this stream, and luckily, it's over here. Luckily, my name is correct. You can find us at _ Hashtag Sports on Twitter, Hashtag Sports on Facebook, and TikTok and Instagram and all those other places. Hey, listen, you're here because of the thumbnail. The thumbnail says Leonard Fournette is going to be a Buffalo Bill. This is breaking news, and I say breaking as in it was reported just about 10 minutes ago now. It's about almost 20 after 1 Eastern Standard Time, reported by Schultz Report at Schultz_report on Twitter. Very reliable source, and it does look like Leonard Fournette is going to be added to the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is probably off the heels of the fact that you had Ty Johnson that you called up for some games. You're running out of activation for him. You've got Jamarcus Ingram on your practice squad. You can no longer elevate him. Yes, he's a cornerback, but he no longer has any games to be called up to. You only get a certain number of games that you can be called up from the practice squad. This is likely not a 53-man roster spot. Leonard Fournette's going to need a little bit of time. We saw this with Kareem Hunt in Cleveland. Hunt was not on any team. Same with Fournette. Fournette's been unsigned this entire season. So Hunt needed probably, he looked pretty good yesterday. But he need probably like 3 to 4 weeks to really get his body up, even though players are working out. He's healthy. He's going to go in for a physical. Everything likely will be fine for Fournette. The fact of the matter is game shape is just not something you can do typically on your own. He's going to need to learn the playbook, although he's fortunate in the fact that this system is not really all that far removed from the system that he ran with Tom Brady down in Tampa. This is the EP system, and the concepts are similar in that respect. So while you are going to see the Bills sign Fournette, you're probably not going to see him right away. So temper your expectations a little bit. And I'm just hoping to see some of the fire that we saw from Fournette in Jacksonville and Bull Moose right on top of it. Listen, Shaq Lawson's back. I can't wait for Shaq Lawson and Leonard Fournette to be in the same locker room. I don't know about you guys. I can't wait. I can't wait. I know it was forever ago now in the world of the NFL, but still it happened. And boy, if you had told me that you'd be seeing Leonard Fournette with the Bills some years later, I told you absolutely not. My first question would be, is Shaq Lawson still on the team? The question is, how much money from Dilly Dale? The fact of the matter is he still has to pass his physical, so pen isn't to paper yet. But if he passes his physical, he'll be a Buffalo Bill. Again, this is likely practice squad, which means that the salary is negligible. Yes, practice squad players count against your salary cap. That's new for 2023, but it will likely be practice squad minimum. And then he will get game checks when called up. But ultimately, it's just going to be practice squad minimum. So that is, again, very, very, very little money. This does kind of speak to the long-term issue of Damian Harris, but also long-term of Latavius Murray. Now, Latavius Murray is healthy right now, but he's also the oldest running back in the NFL. And if you look at what Latavius Murray brings you, really hard to see anybody on this team currently be able to replace that. Fournette does give you that best option, right? Buffalo is, again, a team that is likely going to make the playoffs. So smart for Fournette to sign now. Last year, 1,200 all-purpose yards. So Fournette is all from cooked. And he actually set a career high in receiving yards with 523 receiving yards just last year. So again, this is not a player that is necessarily cooked, but a player that will need some time to acclimate into the 716. So recap, Leonard Fournette is signing. Unfortunately, Serenity now asks, can he play CB? Regrettably, no. You would not want him playing. Leonard Fournette is clearly a linebacker, right? He's clearly a Mike linebacker. But Fournette's going to step in. Again, it will be practice squad most likely. We will likely have to see some sort of other corresponding move. If we were to take a look at the Bills practice squad right now, you did just re-sign Eli Anku, and he seems to get cut every time you sign a new player. So wouldn't that be something? But you may see a player like Joel Wilson, their extra tight end. Although, again, now with Knox being out, you'll probably see him stick around. Andy Isabella was just brought in and activated. They may be ready to move on there. It could be any of these other players that are on your practice squad. Again, it's one of those situations where when you start to peel away the layers, this makes sense. Very conservative And I don't want to say predictable because this was actually talked about, 2 weeks ago? Fournette was looking to be brought into Buffalo. That meeting got canceled because the Bills were worried that Ty Johnson was going to be signed away by another team. At this point, this is what good teams do: is they add veteran players. And this is a very conservative and very Bean-ish move, but it does protect against the oldest running back in the NFL playing a large chunk of your offensive snaps. And Fournette would be great in that role if asked, but it will be some time before you see him. So that's really what's happening. Now, the reason I think Fournette's likely on the practice squad is because you have too big a need at corner on your active roster. So with the trade deadline looming, and boy, I cannot wait to bring you guys breaking news on something happening via the trade deadline. With the trade deadline looming, I would be shocked if it were an offensive player that were added, given the depth issues on this team currently and the way that Bean and McDermott seem to run this ship. They like to put a lot of resources into the defense. So now that Kirk Cousins is done, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. The Vikings may be sellers at this point. KJ Osborne is a player on a contract year. He's a nice big play threat that, again, there's no reason for them to re-sign him if they're not going to have a quarterback. They've already got Jefferson and Addison. So you're probably fine there. KJ Osborne's a player that the Vikings could move on from. Harrison Phillips fits that list too. And again, Buffalo seems to find a need for defensive tackles 365 days a year. So we will see where all this goes, but ultimately this speaks just as much to the health of Damian Harris, and hopefully he's doing well, as it does to the age of playing Latavius Murray, as much as you are seeing as always the oldest running back in the NFL. So this is a smart move. Again, it's a player that I would not say is cooked by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to cost you basically nothing. You will need to see a corresponding move along with it. So either that's somebody from the practice squad being released and him taking their place, or somebody from the practice squad being signed to a 53-man roster. But this is very, very unlikely that it'll be placed on the 53-man roster, just simply because, again, he's been a free agent this whole time. So him being on a practice squad is just paying him to train, which is, I think, the smart move for Buffalo. So now we wait as the trade deadline comes. Again, my name is Paul. You guys are welcome to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, the follow button, wherever you're getting this content. Make sure you follow #sports. We try to give you as much breaking news as we can. And of course, we are patiently waiting the Bills and the Bengals game. And of course, the trade deadline on the upcoming. So hopefully we'll have more Bills news for you soon. If I see that, Steven makes a great point, right? Fournette is here because Frank Gore's cell phone ran out of minutes when Bean called him. Bean sure does love those old running backs, doesn't he? Sure does love him. Dependable. They show up on time, man. They know when work is. They show up on time. They get their work done. Fournette fits the bill there. Playoff pedigree, championship pedigree. Once you start pulling back the Bean and McDermott culture playbook, Fournette fits that. And we'll see. He's not the player that he was in 2018. Let's just be honest about that. But, this is a good signing, and hopefully we'll see good things. But again, temper expectations, probably league minimum contract, and you likely won't see him for a few weeks for conditioning and playbook reasons. All right, guys, have a good one. Paul from #. Hit that like button. Join the Patreon. We'll see you later. Thanks again to Sean Rogers, our sponsor. Take it away, Sean.
Thank you, Paul, as well as the rest of the #sports crew. It's an honor being a sponsor. Investing in real estate, especially in the Phoenix metro area, may change your financial picture forever. And it's easier than you may think. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and proud of it. Yet I live in the Valley of the Sun, have for decades, and love it. I also humbly run one of the top real estate teams in Arizona. We help others score, as it were, when it comes to buying, selling, renting, and of course, investing in real estate. I've been a multi-million-dollar producer for many years, and the Mr. Rogers Homes Arizona real estate team has earned the top spot at West USA Realty for 10 years plus. Again, thank you, #sports, go Bills, and God bless America.